Make sure you understand the difference between parallel lines. Parallel lines would be lines that what, Alex?
They
Never cross. Thank you. Perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines do what? Grace?
they intersect.
Yes, they do, but they're a special type of intersecting lines. Perpendicular. What type of intersecting lines, Jacob?
They make right angles.
They intersect at right angles. Words that we don't use quite as often is oblique lines. Oblique lines are ones that intersect, but they're not perpendicular. Intersect, not perpendicular. Again, I was thinking we already kind of did most of this stuff here. But I want to make sure you got that in your notes there.
What does that mean? Say it again.
Not perpendicular. Intersect at right angles. Intersect just means that they cross, but I think you probably got that. Because that leads us to Christine.
What is the one above the? No, right. That one.
Intersect at
No.
right angles.
Where it's above all of this.
Lines?
No.
Perpendicular?
Yes.
Perpendicular. Just because it gives that in the book there. Perfect. Then we get to really what the book says is the stuff to do with angles. Now, why do you suppose they went over or reviewed those intersecting lines? Because, Alexa,
The angles have.
intersecting lines kind of
Yes,
things,
intersecting
yes. Okay, and when we talk about angles, we're talking about three different types of angles. We got one that kind of looks like this, ones that kind of look like this, and ones that look like this. The first one you need to know very well in order to get the other two. When two angles come together here, by the way, they come together at this point here. What's that point called? Does anybody know? I think we've talked about this before. Sammy? No, that point is called the vertex. The vertex of the angle is the place where they cross, and there's usually two lines or two rays that come together there. This angle here, since it has this little square box in there, okay, that is what we use to show a right angle. So this is a right angle. And how many degrees is a right angle? That's a tough one. DJ? Yes?
360? No, 90.
There you go. 360 degrees in a circle. A right angle is 90 degrees. Okay. If it is this angle here, which is, I'm going to use a little math jargon here. If it's less than, see the little less than symbol? If it's less than 90 degrees, what type of angle is a little less than 90 degrees? Ryan? Very good. It's a cute little angle.
Angel.
Not angel, angle. It's an acute angle. Less than 90 degrees. Okay, this. And then this one here, that's more than, or as we do in math, greater than 90 degrees. What type of angle is that, DJ?
Obtuse.
Absolutely. Obtuse angle. And it doesn't matter how the angle is drawn. You know, if I draw an angle that looks like this, you always look at the little space between the two rays. What type of angle would that be? Alexa? Very good. Or if it's upside down and looks like this, what type of angle is that? The gauge is always your square corner. If it is something that is wider than a square corner, Brian, it's going to be obtuse. Okay. Got that? So if we have this right here, now we got to talk about naming some angles here. I've got a line that looks like this, that right there. And it is, what is it? You gotta make that little shape there. R, Q, R, S, and M. Q, R, S, and M. Okay. If I asked you to name an acute angle, what would you tell me? Of all these shapes here, there's a couple different angles there. What would be the acute angle? Now you have to be careful with this. Michael?
R and S.
Okay, very good. And here's how you would write it on your paper. First of all, you have to tell me you're talking about an angle, and to do that, you draw a small little angle. And Michael said it is angle RMS. Now, you could also call it angle SMR. The one thing that needs to be for sure is that the vertex of the angle is the middle one. Okay? I could not call this angle SRM, because if you're calling something SRM, okay, you're talking about R being the vertex of that angle, and it would be this angle here, that's not even there. Okay? These two letters letters can be flip-flopped because SMR is the same as RMS, but the letter M must be in the middle. Vertex has to go in the middle. If I asked you to name an obtuse angle, an obtuse angle there would be, Grace?
QMR.
Angle QMR, or you could call it angle RMQ. And I suppose if you were, well, no, let's not even go. Let's not even go there. How about one more shape? What if we have this shape right here? And it is A, B, C, and D. And these are both, right, got little square corners here, right angles. If I asked you to list the acute angle, okay, which one is the acute angle? Now here, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that like to cut corners, you are allowed to say that the acute angle is, Jacob Kunzendorf.
It is BAD.
Okay, it's angle BAD, bad, okay, but if it's a shape like this, okay, and there are no other angles coming off of that vertex, you can just say that this is angle A, because there's no way I can mistake that for something else, okay? If there would have been a line that kept going through here and I'd have had something over there, then you would have had to use the 3 letters. But if there's only one letter there and you can't mistake that angle for another letter, you are allowed just to label it as angle A.
Do you have to put that little?
You must put the angle in front of it, yes. You have to put this there because that tells me you're talking about angle A. Otherwise, I'm assuming you're talking about point A, which would just be this. Okay? Alright. If I asked you, what angles are right? Okay, you could easily tell me, Alexa, it is
Same
angle D and angle C. Again, you don't need to list all three letters because there's no other choices that I would have there. So you can always, someone who would be happy to do that. And maybe one more example here. Let's say you've got intersecting lines, and these are labeled as 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I asked you to give me the obtuse angles, you would tell me that the obtuse angles would be, Kelvin?
4.
Angle 4 and angle 2. And the acute angles would be out.
Angle 1, 3.
That, ladies and gentlemen,